Greetings, and welcome to the weekly edition of the Safe Crypto Show. I am your host, Tyler Jordan, with co-hosts Mike and Jason. Each episode attempts to cover a range of topics, beginning with a global market cap review and a look at the past week's movers and shakers. Next, a discussion of general crypto news and happenings. Then we consider new and interesting projects and ICOs, all followed by a brief discussion of the weekly tech update by MateSafe. Let's get started with the show. Safe Crypto Show disclaimer. Please keep in mind at all times that we, the hosts and guests of the Safe Crypto Show, are not offering or giving investment advice. We only state our personal opinions and thoughts on our own interests. By watching, you agree to not hold us responsible for any losses you may incur by executing trades or by maintaining holds based upon the subjects discussed in our episodes. It is Friday, the 22nd of June, 2018. Today I'm joined by my co-host Mike. So let's begin. Welcome, Mike. Thanks for joining the show today.
Glad to be here.
So we weren't here last week. I was sick with a cold. I still got a bit of phlegm, but mostly recovered. And unfortunately, the last 24 hours we've had a big dive. Markets are off. I think they were off a total of about 35 billion at one point, but we're starting to recover a little bit now in the last few hours, so that's good. But overall, things are looking pretty bleak. EOS down 15, almost 16%. I guess 15.5%. Yeah, so we've had quite a bit of a sell-off overall. Oh wait, I'm on my watch list, not the top 100. Let me get back to the top 100. There we go. So yeah, a lot of down, a lot of red. No good. Let's have a look at the global charts then for the week. I got at the beginning of the week, we were at about 270, almost 278 billion. We got up to 293 billion at one point. No, maybe a little more. Yeah, 294 billion. And then we had some up and down. And then yesterday sometime, or the day before yesterday, somewhere in there, it started to collapse down from 285, 286, all the way down to tiny low of 250 billion, or 251-ish. Now we're coming back up again. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a shocking ending to the week. We don't like to see that.
Well, it does. As far as for something that you'd go and take a look at for maybe a positive spin, is it seems like there is some serious support at 250 billion total market cap, because this is like the second time it's hit that. That general vicinity, and then it's turned around, or it's shown some resistance there. So hopefully we'll see a little bit of a rise next week.
Well, you can see over the past week the volume's kind of been trending up. Well, I guess during a sell-off or during a big gain, that's what happens. You get your volume start to move up, but it's still pretty high at the moment. So it's a lot of volume happening. Well, let's move on to Blocktivity, where we have a nice little surprise in store. Let me just refresh, get the latest data here. The surprise being that EOS is now listed. Now, they got their network going and up and running, and they are now number 5 on Blocktivity. Already number 5. I think just the other day, they had the AVI is the market cap value. A ratio of blockchain activity to market cap valuation. And yesterday it was only 4, and now it's 10, so that's maybe partly because of the big price drop. But so interestingly though, they're at the 0.01% usage. So, and I did a little comparison yesterday between that and BitShares, and basically I got about a ratio of 40 times, where EOS is basically running 40 times faster than BitShares. BitShares is also, like Steam, one of Daniel Larimer's projects, and they both use the distributed proof of stake, which is really the fastest thing out there at the moment. You can debate about its security and all of that, but it's definitely the fastest out there at the moment. And yes, EOS is moving much faster than either BitShares or Steam, so huge capacity in EOS at the moment.
It'll be interesting to see if it's where it's at after less than a week. It'll be interesting to see where it is a month or whatnot from now. I have a feeling that the BTC and ETH are going to fall to the EOS juggernaut and over the next month or so. It'll be interesting to see the numbers. question will be, when does it catch steam?
It'll be a few months, I reckon. But
Be looking over your shoulder, Steam.
There's a lot of airdrops scheduled in EOS, and I'm sure there's going to be once a few months go by, and it proves out some stability. I mean, they've had a bit of a rough start, but Ethereum had a hugely rough start as well. So even having to go with a hard fork, so I don't see that in EOS's future, but certainly they have had a rough start, and if they can get their rough edges smoothed out, as I would expect they would, they've got a really strong team of developers and a lot of people behind it. So I reckon that in a few months' time, we're going to see more and more projects starting to use EOS over Ethereum, and that's going to really kick EOS up in a big way. But we'll see what happens there. Ethereum pegged as well as normal, 20,000, nearly 21,000 unconfirmed transactions. That's a bit lower than usual, but still, pretty much it's pegged. It's not a good thing for Ethereum. We're going to be talking about Ethereum later on at the end of the show here, toward the end of the show. So have some interesting news there. All right, well, let's get on with the news then. Our first bit of news is just a warning. We talked about Nano a few months ago, and we were really excited by the nanotechnology, and Nano, of course, has had a lot of problems since then with not so much their technology, but with the exchange, one of the exchanges, BitGrail. But today, the news is Nano Android wallet users advised to move funds due to security flaw. Now, users of cryptocurrency Nano who downloaded a new Android wallet app must create a new wallet and move their funds after the discovery of a security vulnerability, according to a June 21st tweet on Nano. So developers made an urgent appeal, asking them to relocate funds to a wallet which had a different seed. I'm bringing this to people's attention because we did promote Nano a bit, and not financially related to them, but we did invest ourselves. We thought it was an exciting thing. And so if any of you got into Nano and are using their Android app, make sure you have a look at this and get yourself updated ASAP, because that's not good. Don't like security bugs. Our next news article. Mt. Gox crypto exchange begins civil rehabilitation proceedings and ends Bitcoin sell-offs. Well, maybe they ended it today. I don't know if they ended it yesterday.
That's what I was wondering.
Defunct Bitcoin exchange Mt. Gox has formally entered civil rehabilitation proceedings, officials announced on June 22nd. A statement and accompanying documentation confirm the move, which will see attorney Nobuaki Kobayashi act as civil rehabilitation trustee. Now, wasn't Kobayashi wasn't that the lawyer for Kaiser Sose and the Usual Suspects, Mike?
Yeah, but that's a common name in Japan, I would think. So.
I know, but I think Mark Karpolis, he might be Kaiser Soze here. I just found that humorous. I know it's a common name in Japan. I just found that humorous. That that's the same lawyer that Kaiser Soze had in the Usual Suspects film. So anyway, Kobayashi was responsible for selling vast tranches of Bitcoin reserves beginning Q4 last year to reimburse Mt. Gox users who lost money in the exchange's mass hack in late 2013. The sell-offs appeared to have a conspicuous effect on markets, Bitcoin prices tumbling immediately following each transaction, which Kobayashi performed on major exchanges. I don't know why they didn't do a longer, slower sell-off. It's a bit odd. The power and authority... Yeah.
Yeah, considering the amount of time since this happened, I would have thought that it would have been resolved by now.
Yeah.
But whatever it takes to go and get that, garbage flushed through the system, I guess.
Yeah. The power and authority to administer and dispose of Mt. Gox's assets is still vested exclusively in me, and I will implement the civil rehabilitation proceedings, including the administration of Mt. Gox's assets and the investigation of claims, subject to the Tokyo District Court supervision, Kobayashi wrote in new documentation. However, due to the bankruptcy proceedings now being halted as part of the civil rehabilitation, Kobayashi will not sell any further Bitcoins, with users set to receive compensation in Bitcoin instead of fiat currency as originally intended. So that's good. So I'm not sure what are they going to do with all the cash. Are they going to start buying now, or they paid off some people in cash? Maybe they had different groups. Maybe they had a group that wanted fiat and a group that wanted Bitcoin. I don't know.
I'm sure that most people would rather have their Bitcoin rather than to have any cash payment and stuff. because Bitcoin's just it's worth so much more than it was back then. Even when Mt. Gox got done, imploding, the Bitcoin price, even at its highest, was only a fraction of what it is now. So I'll take my payments in Bitcoin. Thank you very much.
So here are the key points. Court approves Mt. Gox civil rehabilitation. Mostly good news. Number 1, trustee won't sell more Bitcoin. Number 2, creditors receive Bitcoin, not Japanese yen, in mid-2019. What? They've got to wait that long? That's not good news. Number 3, everyone must refile claims by October. 4, bad news. Some creditors will sell Bitcoin, so that will hang over market next year. Yeah. Well, we won't dwell on this anymore, but interesting to see what's happening there. Mt. Gox, that whole debacle, they have a huge amount of Bitcoin tied up in all that, so it is going to be an ongoing factor with Bitcoin for some time to come, and Bitcoin Cash, because what is in Bitcoin was replicated in the Bitcoin Cash blockchain, and probably several other hard forked blockchains as well. So this is going over the whole Bitcoin ecosystem of hard forks. This is going to be a big issue for quite some time yet. Let's get on to the next article. World Wealth Report 2018, young millionaires interested in investing in cryptocurrencies. We got in its World Wealth Report 2018, consulting firm Capgemini identified a marked growth of interest in cryptocurrencies among rich investors. Cointelegraph auf Deutsch reported yesterday on June 19th. It's not yesterday. For the report, Capgemini interviewed high net worth individuals and asset managers around the world about their interest in cryptocurrencies. According to the report, nearly a third, 29%, of the surveyed millionaires expressed a high interest, and more than a quarter, almost 27%, a general interest. The potential of cryptocurrencies to generate investment returns and store value is a driving interest among high net wealth individuals. More than 70% of respondents aged 40 and under attach great importance to having their primary asset managers provide cryptocurrency information, compared with just 13% of over 60s. So far, however, asset managers are still cautious about cryptocurrency and are reluctant to broach the subject with clients. A third, about 35%, of high net worth individuals worldwide say they have received information about crypto from their asset managers. The report notes regional differences in millionaires' views on crypto investments. While interest in Europe, North America, and Japan is relatively modest, 60% of high net worth individuals from South America show a high level of interest. Increased client interest in cryptocurrencies has driven some firms in the financial sector to take a friendlier stance toward digital asset. As crypto has grown more popular, Goldman Sachs has softened its position. In 2014, the investment bank said Bitcoin was not a currency and was too risky for investors, while in May of this year, the firm announced that they would explore trading cryptocurrencies to increase client interest. I'm not going to go on with the golden quotes, but basically that's a pretty positive, I think, article. We're going to see more brokers and dealers start to broach the topic as it continues to infiltrate into their ecosystem, and we're going to see more money start to flow in, trickle by trickle.
Yeah, once they start going and acknowledging the returns the cryptos are posting, year over year, it's going to get pretty, it's going to get to be a fairly, unavoidable thing. And anybody who is in the financial services will probably want to have at least some way to get their customers into that particular fund, asset class, because they won't want their money going elsewhere to a different company just because they can go and get them crypto.
That's right. It's competition, It's going to force them to get into it.
Up the adoption.
That's right. Our next article, Goldman Sachs exploring crypto derivatives, says COO, Chief Operating Officer. Leading U.S. investment banking group Goldman Sachs is exploring cryptocurrency trading derivatives, Goldman Sachs Chief Operating Officer said in an interview with Bloomberg June 20th. COO David Solomon stated that the company is already assisting clients in publicly traded derivatives such as Bitcoin futures, and that the company is very cautiously considering some other activities in the field. According to Solomon, the purpose of the company is to evolve its business and adapt to the environment with respect to cryptocurrencies. Quote, "We are clearing some futures around Bitcoin, talking about doing some other activities there. but it's going very cautiously. We're listening to our clients and trying to help our clients as they're exploring those things too. Yesterday, Goldman Sachs CEO Lloyd Blankfein confirmed his positive stance on cryptocurrencies, claiming that the adoption of digital coins like Bitcoin could happen similarly to the adoption of paper fiat money, which replaced gold and silver coins. Well, that's a pretty big switch for Lloyd Blankfein, who I believe, well, I think maybe it goes into it here. Oh, I'm not sure if it does, but yeah, he said some pretty negative things about Bitcoin early on, and the cryptocurrencies in general. So yeah, it's good to see that things are moving forward, and that's just more positive news. I think they're starting to push in to what they need to do to really stay competitive. Our next article: Bloomberg Terminal lists crypto market index from world's third largest exchange, Huobi. Bloomberg Terminal, a paid financial data monitoring service, will now list crypto exchange Huobi's cryptocurrency index, according to a press release shared with Cointelegraph today, June 21st. Bloomberg Terminal will also list prices for 9 crypto trading pairs denominated in Tether, including Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum Classic, Ripple, Dash, EOS, and Zcash. The Huobi 10 index, designed by the Huobi Group, is calculated using asset classification and a weighted average method to track the performance of the top 10 traded digital assets on Huobi's exchange. The press release notes that Bloomberg Terminal's addition of a crypto index is a mark of bringing cryptocurrencies into the mainstream financial marketplace. Cheng Huixin, associate to CEO of Huobi Group, stated in the press release that the, quote, index reflects the overall trend of the market. Index investments can diversify investment risks and are a mature and rational investment method. So this is pretty positive. I think there's probably a lot of other services that maybe use Bloomberg's terminal, so this is going to really get exposure, cryptocurrencies out there even more, and start in relation to the previous article we had where we talked about how brokers and dealers were reluctant to share information. This kind of thing just continues with the market penetration and is going to get them to start sharing information more readily, I reckon. So, it's just, there's just so much positive news. I don't know why the market's down so much. I think there's manipulation going on, but anyway, that's another thing. We might have to do a special show at some point, Mike, on that, because I've got some conspiracy theories. I don't know if I should share them or not, but I don't know. I've got some ideas about some things that are pretty heinous.
No,
anyway.
Not you.
Not me. So, our next article, Cointelegraph launches aggregator platform for DApp discovery. This is an analysis article. Tuesday, June 19th, Cointelegraph is announcing the launch of an aggregator for decentralized applications, a DApp hub, for easy discovery and analysis of the growing number of DApps in existence. Cointelegraph's DApp hub allows crypto enthusiasts to view information about each DApp in one place, including a description, specifics about current status, developers, and popularity. DApp hub's listings can be arranged according to various criteria, including their Ethereum balance and number of users, to determine a given DApp's popularity. Any DApp hub user can also submit a DApp to potentially be listed by filling out a submission form on the DApp hub page. I think at the moment this is, pretty much all Ethereum, but since it's supposed to be, an aggregator for decentralized applications, I reckon we're going to see applications from other blockchain systems and other platforms as well emerge on here in the not too distant future. So I think that's really, it would be really neat. You'll go there. So already they've got in the picture here anyway, they've got Crypto Kitties, My Lucky Rabbit, Crypto Bots, and down below they're showing IDEX and Fork Delta, which are pretty big DApps on Ethereum. So yeah, that's awesome. You can see their balance. You can see all kinds of information about them. I think it can be quite useful for learning about what's out there in the ecosystem. Our last article this week, Ethereum to combine Casper and sharding upgrades. So Ethereum developers have recently discussed the most significant upcoming updates to the Ethereum network at the Ethereum Core Devs meeting number 40 that took place Friday, June 15th. The key points of the recent meeting is rescheduling the releases of 2 main Ethereum chain upgrades such as Casper and sharding. Casper should have been released as a smart contract separately from the sharding upgrade. The new proposals suggest that Casper may be released on a shard or a sidechain instead. Excuse me. Sharding, announced by Ethereum's co-founder Vitalik Buterin in April 2018, is a method of increasing the number of transactions that a blockchain can process. The idea of sharding is that nodes store just a part of the distributed registry, but each element of sharding, i.e. a node, can rely on the information of others. Casper was first published in October 2017 as a proof-of-stake-based finality system, which overlays an existing proof-of-work blockchain. It intends to solve open questions of economic finality through validator deposits and crypto-economic incentives. In late April, the Ethereum Improvement Proposal, EIP number 1011, hybrid Casper FFG, was introduced aiming to solve the issues associated with crypto mining by providing a hybrid system of consensus. According to the latest proposal, Ethereum network would combine proof of work with proof of stake consensus with the goal of eventually transitioning to proof of stake. According to the EIP, one of the specifications for the update reduces the block reward for miners from 3 Ethereum to 0.6 Ethereum. As Buterin stated in the recent meeting, the altering launches of sharding and Casper would basically scale up the chain to its theoretical maximum. Buterin has suggested that the rescheduling of upgrades would reduce the deposit amount required to participate in securing the network from 1,500 Ethereum to 32 Ethereum, which would make participating in staking much more viable. Buterin also claimed that the new model would allow the developers to launch Casper without disturbing the Ethereum network, claiming that Casper is, quote, more separate from the main chain. Not going to go on with that. There's not much more anyway, but yeah, have a look at that. I think this is basically it looks like they're moving sharding up. They're trying to get it happening sooner rather than later. I think, frankly, they're worried a bit about EOS. EOS has a much faster chain than them, and if people start to move en masse over to EOS, if ICOs start to move en masse over to EOS, there's going to be, people are going to start to question which is better in a big way. I don't know. EOS is going to gain more of a reputation, and then this could really hurt the Ethereum community in the long run if they don't do something about their choke point at the moment. So.
Yeah, just getting it to where it's not behind, I think, is a major benefit. And I mean, Bitcoin, its transaction prices dropped dramatically once they got the choke point eliminated. So hopefully, with Ethereum, we'll see them without their little speedometer redlined on the blocktivity chain.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really this article is really positive news for Ethereum. I mean, they might have some hiccups, though. Implementing both of these at around the same time could cause some growth pains, and that might be negative in the short run. But I think in the longer run, the sooner they get sharding in there, the better for Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep, for sure.
I think it's pretty positive. Bit of news. Okay, our last topic this week is, of course, always the Made Safe development update. This is the update for June 21st. Here are some of the main things to highlight this week. This week saw an interview with Doug Campbell, published by Crypto Income. That's a blog, cryptoincome.me. There were also a couple of articles published by Crypto Core Media as well. So links to those will be in the show notes. I'll put them in there. The next highlight, Hunter Lester has been, that's his ID name on the forum, has been fully focused on enhancements for the Peruse browser, and we would like to encourage the community to try it and report any issues encountered, since that will be very valuable and helpful to us. You can download Peruse version 0.6 from here. There's a link there. Third item, this week has seen the bulk of Milestone 1 work for Parsec ticked off. The production code has been merged, some initial integration tests written, and an example should be getting merged very soon. All being well, the kinks should be worked out over the next few days, and we can move on to Milestone 2. I'm not sure what or how many milestones and the topics of each milestone. I'm not sure what they are, but basically progress is progressing quite well with the Parsec, so that's awesome news. And the last highlight for the week, we are happy to see community interest in NetSim. We wrote some tutorials and examples to make it easier to get started. I'm not sure what NetSim is. I think I did know at one point, but my brain is like a sieve, so I don't know now. I might just read some of the details here in the thing. Marketing details. The Safe Academy Learn. Over the past few months, we've mentioned our work in building an academy to provide new educational material that will help both newcomers and existing community members learn a little more about the network. As you may recall, we intended to build this as a standalone website. However, once the decision was made to move the new website work in-house, our thinking has evolved. Rather than maintaining a number of separate websites with the risk of calls to action being confusing across each and creating additional challenges for tracking metrics and navigational complexity, etc., we've changed tack slightly. We will now roll this content directly into the new learning section of the Safe Network website that is currently approaching completion. So that's awesome. Glad to hear that. I applaud that move. Being too spread out is not good, in my opinion. The net result is that this work has been added to the backlog for website tasks. After much debate, we've decided that there's no benefit to be gained from delaying the website launch for this alone. Therefore, the Learn section of the new website will be released at some point after the new website is live. Obviously, it's disappointing to have to push this back a little, but when balanced with the feedback on getting started, on the Getting Started video last week, specifically production value, audio, etc., we felt that it's best not to rush things out before they're properly integrated with the wider design and feel. We have different skills across the team compared to the start of the project, and it makes sense to use these moving forward, even if we can't access them immediately due to current workloads. Hopefully this makes sense to all. Yeah, so their website's moving along. They've got a lot of things happening, and I encourage you to check out the update as usual. There's more in there, as there is every week, and development is continuing. It's really great news that Parsec is being cranked on. They're working hard on that, and I'm really excited. Once they get the Parsec fully integrated and done, we'll be really close to getting to the next alpha, and that'll be amazing. So MadeSafe has done their price this week has done quite well. They were up quite a bit on the week, I think. So even though they were hit pretty hard, like all other cryptos the last day, they're still, I think, not doing too shabby. So there's more and more interest coming into the MadeSafe arena, so that's great news. Any last words, Mike?
Nope. Looks like we got everything covered for today.
All right. Well, that's all we have for today, folks. I'd like to thank both our viewers and my co-host for joining me today. I hope you found the episode informative and helpful. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share a video with others. Smash the bell button. Tune in next week for another interesting episode.
And have a good one, everyone.
Bye.